Translation of the Hebrew Old Testament, translated by Greek-speaking Jews.
Right.
180 BC.
Okay.
Why did they translate Isaiah 7:14 into the Greek word?
Let me answer your question. The Septuagint was translated by 72 Jewish scholars, but that was only the 5 books of the
So, Rabbi is half correct. The first 5 books of the Bible, aka the Torah, were the first things to be translated, but it wasn't the only thing to be translated. And even when it was translated, see Talmud, Megillah 9a through 9b, showing that the Jews at the time tampered with the Septuagint when they took it from Hebrew into Greek. That's a Jewish source.
Later on, further translations happened, no longer with the same veracity as those 72 Jewish scholars. So you can't just say that the Jews are the ones who translate.
So, Rabbi, if your statement is simply, we don't have the documentation of the 72 coming back together to write the rest of the Hebrew Bible, Nach, aka writings, prophets, etc., then I would say, yeah, that's true. But what we absolutely do have is the New Testament itself in the earliest writings quoting widely from the Septuagint, which shows that it was widely used during that time, okay? It doesn't show us that it was written, i.e. translated completely and only by Jews, but what it does show is there were Jews of that time that were familiar with that and had no problem quoting from that source. And I want to make sure that I clarify what I mean here. Hellenistic Jews are still Jews. They may not be in alignment with rabbinic Judaism, as is commonly referred to today, or some sort of like Pharisaic or some sort of like orthodoxy of the time, but they're still Jews. So even if Hellenistic Jews wrote the Septuagint, Jews still wrote the Septuagint, right? I.e. that they translated it. So we can't prove that it was only Hellenistic Jews. We can't prove that it wasn't. So I just wanted to make sure that I clarified, just because it doesn't go in alignment with the commonly held to tradition, like the 72, does not negate the fact that Hellenistic Jews, as well as others in the New Testament, were very familiar with the Septuagint and used it. And it doesn't mean that even if a Hellenistic Jew wrote it, that Jews didn't write it.
Also, in Greek, there is no word that really differentiates a maiden that never had children and a virgin. In Hebrew, there are 2 different words, Almah and Basula. Almah just means a woman who's married who did not have children yet.
So, Rabbi, it's very interesting to me that you went here, because in many of my apologetic videos on Isaiah chapter 7, in regards to Almah and Betsula, I have made the very pronounced statement that an Almah has never had kids, but she's also never been married. And you could look at all of the uses of this word and you can see that an Almah is a woman of marriageable age. She's not actually been married yet. So she's a woman, she's righteous, she conceals herself, she's never been married, she's never done the thing that causes children to be married, and logically never had kids. And the reason why this is so is because we have no use of a woman, barren or not, who is married and not really called just Isha. So I'd love for you to give me a distinction in Hebrew that I can see the qualifiers within that passage that indicates this woman is married, but not yet had kids and is still called Almah, because it's only used 7 times in the Hebrew Bible, plural as well as singular, and all of the uses, barring, let's bar the one, Isaiah 7, that we're all arguing about, right? Barring that one where the woman is married and after being married, she's not called Isha, she's called Almah. So we can see the uses of Almah even in the chapter Isaiah 7, that if one, i.e. Orthodox Judaism, is going to assume that this is about, let's say, Isaiah's wife, or let's say it's about Hezekiah's mother, then we already know that this is a problem because both of those women did have children. So I'd wonder how you would actually substantiate and prove that point. But I love at least that you're able to see that this woman hasn't had kids yet. I think the only thing you're lacking, Rabbi, is seeing that she is still a virgin. So with that, hope this video is a blessing. Until next time, shalom.